Hello and welcome to Fall 2020. This particular video is to introduce myself, walk you through the course a little bit, and hopefully answer a few questions before they happen. Before I go any further, I'll go ahead and mention that this particular video is set up for multiple classes. This fall, I'm teaching 4 different sections of the same class, and there are 3 different teaching modalities. So some of them are face-to-face, some of them are online, some of them are hybrid. So as I go through this video, I will be saying a lot of information that has something to do with you and a little bit of information that might not have to do with you. So just listen for your section number or your type of class that you have enrolled in. So, to begin, who I am, my name is Cora Ellen Church. I go by my middle name of Ellen. And at Northeast State, it should show up as Cora Church on everything, but there are some places where it would potentially show up as Cora Young, which is the name that I used to teach here under. So, if you see any name swaps, that's what's going on. Whenever you email me, you're welcome to say Mrs. Church or Miss Ellen. It's entirely whatever you want to. I am not very title picky. For background on myself, just so you can get a feel for who I am from the Tri-Cities, Tennessee region originally, born and bred, and still live in Bristol, even though I do love to travel and do that every summer. I have been teaching for the state of Tennessee since 2009, 2010, so I've been teaching for a good long time. I've been teaching online since 2009, and I have taught for East Tennessee State University, Northeast State Community College, and King University. So I really enjoy teaching communication, whether it's online, live, face-to-face, or hybrid. I'm comfortable with any of it. So if you have any questions about how the course is going to be taught, if this is your first online or hybrid class, then I understand that you might feel uncomfortable with having to experience a new form of learning, but I hopefully will be able to lead you through this and help you adjust. This course is designed from start to finish to make things as easily accessible to you as possible, and each small assignment is built in to scaffold to larger assignments. So if you look into D2L and go, oh my goodness, there's so much work to do, realize that you're doing it piece by piece and it culminates in larger assignments. I'm never going to be like, hey, write me a 10-page paper tomorrow. Quite frankly, you won't be writing any papers for me. That's not this type of class. So breathe. Other information about me, I absolutely love any type of animal. I have a 55-gallon tank of fish right over there. I've got 2 cats. I normally have very large dogs, but both of mine recently passed away, so that's been sad. But I have been married for 5 years. I absolutely enjoy teaching. It's my favorite thing, and my job is to take care of you. So if you have any questions or concerns at any time, the expectation is that you'll reach out and ask because I will have no problem responding to you. I have my Northeast State email routed to my phone. So if you email me and it's during waking hours, like not 3 in the morning, if you email me, generally, as long as I'm not in class or doing a recording for a class, I'll be able to respond to you fairly quickly. And so just let me know if you need anything at any time. It will never bother me to respond to you. Now, I'm using the technology called Screencast-O-Matic right now to record this because it allows me to record the screen and via webcam is what we'll see here in just a second. And I'll be using that fairly often for some of our lecture PowerPoints. I will also use Zoom and probably Prezi video as well, just so you can play around with a couple of different types of technology that are free and accessible to you. Whatever technology you choose to use for this class is what you choose to use. I'm just going to introduce you to a few of the forms that I use. Now, one of the things with Screencast-O-Matic is you can't put in a false background. So this actually is my living room with my beautiful covered couch, and you'll probably see cats walking in all the time, and that's why the couch is covered. That is their couch. So I don't mind. It doesn't bother me at all for my life to show up. If my husband pops in a video or two, we're just going to have to move on with life. So with Zoom, as you might know already, you can put up a fake background to block out anything behind you. So if you don't feel like cleaning up your room that day, there's no worries. Just put up a Star Wars background and log into class or Zoom with me, and you never have to worry about what's behind you. So that's an advantage of Zoom. So what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to pop my head into a corner here, and this is what my D2L looks like right now. There's a bunch of different courses. So I'm going to pop into this first Fundamentals of Communication course, which is an asynchronous online class. This means it has no class meetings, so its look is going to be a little bit different from my hybrid course or my face-to-face. Now, anytime that you pop into my class, there will very likely be an announcement here for you all to look at because I will generally post at least once a week, giving you some guidance on what to do that week or some examples on how to do things. If I found a TED Talk or a quick YouTube video that gives a really good demonstration or emphasizes an element of what we're learning that week, I'll pop it up here as well just to give you an additional media experience to have someone else explain it a different way. We all learn in different ways and have different strengths and weaknesses. So I like to kind of have a balance of multiple different types of materials up here for you to use as you choose so that you can play to your strengths. Now, what will happen is over here in the right-hand column, it's going to tell you what's available, when things are due, how things are going. And I have this course set up to release on Monday of every week. So week 1 released today, I'm assuming when you're watching this video. Week 2 will release on the 24th and so on. If you do want to work ahead, let me know. I can release the week early, but it has to release it early for everyone, and I don't want that to confuse or stress anybody. You can also go to the calendar function to see what's due and when. Everything in this class is going to be due on a Sunday, unless I believe it's the end of the semester where everything is due on November 22nd. So no other due dates change. If it's Sunday night before 11:59 p.m. is your due date all the time. So if it's Sunday at 4 in the afternoon and you're like, something's missing from my life, log into fundamentals and see if you have completed that week's work. Again, you do have stuff to do every week, but I try to keep it in smaller chunks because typically in a live class, you and I would be meeting 3 hours a week and getting a lot of this work done, and you'd have homework. In an online setting, you probably have less than 3 hours of work a week to do, period. I try to keep it very manageable for you because I know it takes extra time to find it, to listen to the lectures, and to interact with the course. So just keep in mind that Sundays are the days that things are due, Mondays are the days that things open, and you will have something due almost every week, but it should be small. It should not be hours and hours of work, maybe 1, maybe 2 hours of work a week, depending on your pace and how fast you like to go. Now, class progress, this is generally something you can see how well you've gotten through everything. It's more for me to see how everyone's doing. Class list is where you can access my or your classmates' email addresses. So, one of the things you're going to be doing later in the semester will be interacting with your classmates as a part of a group project. Don't panic, I'll take care of you. You'll be all right. But the class list allows you to find names and emails, or if you, for some reason, don't remember where to get the syllabus, I'll show you here in just a moment, then you can go to class list, find my name, Cora Church, and email me directly. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you that the content tab is pretty much where you're going to spend your life in this course because the content tab is where I have designed everything to be in one place. Now, this content tab is organized week by week, and the start dates are there for each week. And in each week is everything you need. So if you have a quiz due that week, it's embedded in that week. If you have something you need to upload to a Dropbox, it is inside that week. If you have an example to look at, it will be there. If you have lectures to listen to, it will be there. So I'm basically droning on right now, waiting for poor D2L to catch up with me so I can show you what this looks like. But it seems like it wants to be slow today. All right, we loaded. Let's go. So with this table of contents, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be where everything is that you need to see. I want to make sure that I pop that and make that view as a student instead of a faculty member because things do look so very different. I have very little patience for technology, which is very ironic considering I teach online all the time. Okay, so in this table of contents, you're going to have everything that you need for the entire semester. So I have your syllabus and course introduction where this video is additionally posted here. And then as you can see, everything is split into different weeks with the start dates eliminated there for you. So you know, if you know what day it is, you know what week you're in. I'll go ahead and say that I have your materials prepped for just the first couple of weeks of the semester, and as the semester goes on, I will get further and further ahead of us until I have the entire semester prepared. All the assignments are there and the examples are there, but I do not have all of our lectures recorded yet. Again, having only gotten the textbook a couple of days ago, it has cramped my style. So I do have the first 2 weeks of the semester completely ready for you, and I will work on having everything else ready so you will not have to wait. As soon as week 3 opens, week 3 materials are going to be there. Enough about that. What I would recommend you do, if you have the table of contents view, it's going to look a little bit like this and everything's nicely organized under different folders. What I would recommend that you do is just click on whatever week that you're in. So right here, I'm going to go over these syllabi in just a moment, and this video will be posted here additionally, just in case you skipped it on the announcements tab or want to come back to it. But if you go to something like week 1, you'll see it's kind of blocked out. This at the time of this recording, it hadn't come live yet. But what I'll have at the top of every week is background on the week, what you're supposed to watch or read, and then what you're supposed to do and when it's due by. And then you'll scroll down, and if there are any supplementals, they're here for you. If there are drop boxes you need to do or quizzes, they're built right in. There's an optional introductions forum where you can post an introduction of yourself, which I recommend you do just because we do need to get to know each other in this virtual environment. But as I said earlier, I have everything where you need it. So even though you do have the quizzes tab and the discussions tab and all these other tabs, like the assignments tab is where your drop boxes are, even though you have all these separate tabs, I've embedded everything in the week so that you won't have to click around and make sure you've clicked all the right places. It will be here for you. Another example is week 2. There you go. There's an example of what it's going to look like, what I want you to listen to or watch. If you have something due or not, I'm being nice to you in week 2. And then I will have lecture videos that will be posted as links, which will be just like this, screencast recordings. And then I will have PowerPoints there that I used in the recordings. And the reason I've done it that way is so if you watch the lecture and you've taken notes, but you want to create a study guide later on for a test, you can just go to the PowerPoint and look at the terms that I mentioned and use those as your guide. If there's a quiz, some of them are optional. I'll explain what tokens are in just a moment. You are absolutely welcome to take those if they're extra. It's kind of like an extra credit opportunity. So essentially, every week, just click on the week, read what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to cover, listen to what you're supposed to listen to, and then just work your way down the page. And by the time you finish that module, you are good to go. Hopefully, that works for you. So I'm going to kind of pop back up here to syllabus and course introduction, and I'm going to open some of these documents. And I'm going to first open up the departmental syllabus, which is the syllabus that the Department for Behavioral and Social Sciences provides. You can see where it says Instructor C. Ellen Young. I'll change that to Church. Now, each one of these documents is going to contain some type of relevant information to you. And what I recommend you do is you see how long this is taking is that you download them and open them that way. One reason is because you see what this formatting looks like. It's not exactly the best. So if you open them up in Word or whatever Word program you've got, the formatting is just a little bit better organized and the information's there for you. So in this syllabus, it's going to tell you I do have an office phone number, but I would recommend that you email me simply because I'm not going to be on campus barely at all this fall unless you make a specific appointment with me. And so if you leave me a voicemail, I'll probably never get it. So please just make sure that you email me instead. My email address is there for you. I do have virtual office hours every week on Monday, Wednesdays, and Tuesdays. And here is my Zoom room. So if you want to meet with me during office hours, shoot me a quick email that says, hey, I'm logging in. And just click on that link. And within a couple of minutes, I'll log in and meet with you, answer your question. You can screen share with me if you're working on something, and I can point out what you need to do. And then you log off and we're good. So you can literally Zoom in. We'll have a face-to-face conversation about whatever you need. I don't care if it takes 10 seconds. If that 10 seconds makes you comfortable, it's a good 10 seconds. So that's how I will meet with you. I do have an office on the main campus, again, that I will not be at. So if you desperately need to meet with me person to person and don't want to use Zoom, then you will have to email me ahead of time. Let me know that you need me to be on campus, and then we'll decide on a day and time. mainly because if I'm including drive time and I'm teaching in Johnson City and having to get to main campus and all these different variables, I can't get there quickly, is what I'm going to say. So if you need to meet with me face to face and Zoom will not work for you, that's fine, but you'll have to realize it'll be probably 2 days away from whenever you need me. So just keep that in mind. Credit hours, catalog description, outcomes, all that's in here. Instructional methods, library sources, evaluation methods, where the bulk of your grades are going to come from, grade scale, objectives, the name of the chapters, all that information is in here for you. Since this is primarily an asynchronous online class, there is no emergency evacuation statement for us. If you are evacuating in an emergency, that probably means from your house. So I don't know where to tell you to go. If this is for my face-to-face class, because I'll post this video there anyway, so they get the same type of walkthrough, then we'll have to discuss that in class, and I'll tell you how to fill in those locations so you know where to go. One new thing for the departmental syllabus this semester is that you are going to have access to some type of personal device to be able to record presentations, to be able to submit work, watch videos, or if you're in a hybrid class, stream Zoom meetings. So you do need to make sure you have access to that technology, and here are the device requirements that are here for you that you can go through on your own leisure. So moving on, going back to that original syllabus and course introduction tab, the next part is your addendum. Again, my recommendation is that you download the file because it does take longer for it to download here and the format is going to be really odd looking. So if you download it and open it as an attachment, and I recommend you save it to whatever device you're using, you'll be able to see a breakdown of the actual assignments. So here are your assignments for the semester. You're going to have a few presentations, both individual and group. Those individual presentations will have separate components. You will have multiple exams that will be built into D2L. And again, they're on D2L, so they're all open book, open notes. So that's up to you. I can't regulate that, and I don't worry about it. Google won't help you anyway. So you will have small assignments, and these small assignments are your weekly ones. These are worth 20, 25 points apiece, and these are the ones that walk you through the small pieces that lead you to the larger components. So each of these larger assignments have small ones leading up to them so that you're not sitting up till 3 in the morning trying to frantically put a speech together. You will have put that speech together piece by piece, component by component as the weeks go on. So having one small thing due every week builds you up to having that one large thing due at the end of the unit. So again, to refer to the syllabus, this one in this video is for an asynchronous online course. If you are in my hybrid or my face-to-face course, you would open a different syllabus. So you'd be accessing this from a different D2L course. And when you open your syllabus, it would say something like, this is a face-to-face course, or this is a hybrid course. So some of this information may be a little bit different for you. Most of it is the same though. So hybrid means we're going to have virtual and Zoom meetings. If it's face to face, clearly we're going to have class periods a couple of times a week. Regardless, everybody's going to have reliable access to computer Wi-Fi and a webcam, because in order to observe COVID requirements, we will not be giving presentations in class and kind of breathing those germs around. And I'm not going to ask you to try to present while nervous while wearing a mask. So to work around that, you'll be submitting presentations virtually. So you'll record them like what I'm doing right here and submit the video, and that way you can present using your whole face and your whole interaction, and it's going to be a little bit safer for everybody if you're in a face-to-face course. When you do email me, there are some ground rules for doing so. Please always edit the subject line of the email to tell me what you're emailing me about. Please write with appropriate capitalization, punctuation, and grammar as best you can. If you're not sure how to do it, don't just not email me. Email me anyway, and if it's messed up, that's fine. I'll just say, hey, remember to capitalize this word, but email me regardless. I don't care how terrible your grammar is. Do your best, but email me anyway. Make sure that you greet appropriately, like Mrs. Church or Miss Ellen or instructor, whatever it might be, and then be very clear about what you want. If you email me and say something like, hey, what's going on this week? then I'm literally going to screenshot whatever week's table of contents is and send the screenshot to you and be like, this, have you read your syllabus? So if you need something, it needs to be specific. Like, I watched your screencast and your instructions for assignment 3, but I'm really not sure how to do this part. Can you help me with that? And then I can email you back and give you whatever feedback you need. And if that doesn't make sense, then we'll schedule a Zoom meeting. I'll walk you through it one-on-one and you'll be good to go. So I am here for you. That's what I'm paid to do. Please make sure your name's in the email so I know who you are. I have something like 175 students this semester, so I need to know who you are. Be really helpful. And if you are for some reason discussing another classmate's behavior, it needs to be respectful and we'll probably have to have a conversation about it. I've never had that happen yet, but still, I always have that in there. For the asynchronous class, there is no formal attendance policy because we never really have to attend. You just need to submit your work every week. If you're in a hybrid class, there is an attendance policy because you will have to attend the weekly Zoom meetings. And if there's a face-to-face class, then there will be a face-to-face attendance policy here. So again, open the syllabus relevant to your course. The late work policy across all the modalities is the same. I really do not allow you to have late work unless you have an amazing reason for it. Generally because you have a week to do every single assignment in this course. It's not like you have a 24-hour turnaround on anything. So if you've had 7 days to do it, you need to find time in those 7 days to do it, especially when I'm not requiring you to do like 8 hours of work a week. Now, the way that I can be gracious is I have this policy called a token policy. And if you go to the grade book, you'll see that you have 3 tokens. And a token is something that you can use to redeem for one of the following. You can get a 24-hour extension on a deadline. So let's say that you were working on a rough draft outline for a speech and you get called into work, or your boss walks up to you and says, hey, you're working a double today. And you're like, crap, I was going to use those 8 hours to do all my homework for the week. Again, not for me. I'll never ask you to have that much work. But let's just say you can't get to it. Or let's say that you're having a bad mental health day and today is just not the day. Or maybe you wanted to go on the lake, like you just need a day off. Then you redeem a token for a 24-hour extension, and I won't ask why. I'll just say, thank you, you've redeemed a token, and go take your extra 24 hours. If you don't have any needs for a 24-hour extension, you can save up your tokens and they're worth 5 extra credit points each at the end of the semester. So you could have 15 extra credit points banked waiting for you at the end of the semester. So if you need it to boost you up a grade level, you can just save your tokens all semester and just have built-in extra credit. Another option you can use for a token is a revision opportunity. Let's say that you did your speech and you did it incorrectly, and I grade you with a rubric and your grade is not anywhere near where you want it to be. You can redeem a token and redo that assignment. It would be within a very specific time limit, like maybe 48 to 72 hours. It wouldn't be an extra week, but I would give you the opportunity to redo that assignment. So let's say that you do a presentation, you get like a 54% on it because you just didn't try or didn't know what you were doing and were scared to ask. Or maybe you worked that double and you had to record it with 20 minutes left to go before the deadline and you were just stressed. So you can sit there and redeem a token and I will let you re-record that presentation within the next 2 or 3 days, resubmit it, and then that new score would be your new score as long as it's higher. If you do worse, I'm not going to, replace it with a worse score. So that's what tokens are for. You are given 3 of them, but if you use all 3 of them, I am going to give you opportunities to earn more. So as it says here, you can use your tokens when needed, or you can save them up for extra credit, but there are no late work extensions at the end of the semester. Our semester ends on November 22nd. That's kind of in the middle of finals week. That is when our semester's over, and I don't care how many tokens you have, you are not allowed to submit anything past the 22nd. So that's it. So if you're going to do late work, it's going to have to be in throughout the rest of the semester. I will give you, I believe, 3 opportunities to earn extra tokens, so you can have a maximum of 6 tokens this semester. The reason I only have 6 is because I don't want you to develop the weekly habit of turning in something a day late every week. That's just not going to work. So once you burn through your tokens, if you have late work, you just get zeros. That's how that's going to go. So you have grace periods built in. You have grace periods that you can earn, but after that, you just are going to have to give up. Like, I mean, when I say give up, I don't mean give up on the course. I mean give up on late work. Like just do it when it's supposed to be done by, and you'll be golden. Submission guidelines, you're going to have reliable access to the internet, clearly. And you do need to have access to some type of recording device. I've mentioned it before, whether that's your cell phone, whether that's a webcam, whether that's technology you use on campus, whatever it is, you need the ability to record. Now, you will submit speeches. You can use, I think, Yuja or Kuja. I think Kuja is the name of a Final Fantasy character, but Yuja is a platform you can submit speeches on. I prefer using your YouTube, Screencast, Gematic, Prezi, or Zoom. Quite frankly, I'm not really picky on what recording platform you use, as long as you have the ability to produce a link and give me the link. That's all I care about. I will submit some instructions for you, Jess, so that you all can experience that one as well. But so YouTube and Zoom instructions are there just because those are the ones students use the most. But again, I will post alternatives for you if you're not comfortable with that. Do not edit your speech videos. Please submit your documents in a doc or docx format. If you submit it in an Apple format, like you don't resave it as a doc, my computer will not be able to read it. Please make sure that you name your documents with your name and the name of the assignment so that it's very clear. A very common mistake that first-time students make is they just save their document as something like speech on their computer, and then as the semester goes on and you have a lot of documents on your computer, you can't find the one you're looking for. So if you name it with your name and the name of the assignment, draft outline, final outline, informative speech link, Kuja link, I don't know why I'm stuck on Kuja. Apparently, my sister and I have been playing through Final Fantasy IX, and there's a character in there named Kuja, and apparently I'm just stuck there. So, whenever you go through any of this, just make sure that it's named well and has your name on it. The rest of this is going to be assignment description, so I'm not going to go through that because this is going to be copied and pasted or available for you the whole rest of the semester. But at the very end of this is a course agreement, and you're just going to type your name and the date there, copy and paste this, or just upload this document, and that's actually your first assignment in the course, is to say that you've listened to this video, you've read through this addendum, and you know what your expectations are. Please don't submit that till you've actually read it, but you see how the format's all weird there. The last thing here that I really want to go over would be your weekly course schedule. And this is what is in each module for you already, but I have it here as one lump document. So if you want to download the whole document, again, I recommend you download instead of waiting for D2L because D2L will mess up the formatting. This has the weekly breakdown of what's going to be due. So you'll see this looks identical to what I showed you in the content tab modules. This is already here for you. So just make sure that you have what you need. And there might be a couple of areas where the language is a little bit different. For example, here it says Evaluation and Assessments tab. In this version of D2L, it just says Quizzes, so that just means the Quizzes tab. But also, just to keep things clear, I have everything built into the module, so you shouldn't have to click off into any other tab. Now, that said, if you do encounter any mistakes on my part, you are welcome to tell me. So if you see something where it says assessments and evaluation instead of quizzes, just say, hey, syllabus says assessments and we don't have an assessments tab. Then I can fix that. Again, they've moderated the version of D2L that they use, and it's different from the one that I teach at in D2L, so the language kind of waffles back and forth. If a Dropbox is supposed to be open and for some reason it's not, then you can just email me and let me know about that. I do not mind you asking questions and double checking. Oh, look at that. They have a Yuja link right there, so we can use that. So, as you can see, this is going to be an entertaining semester. I think it's going to be fun, even though I've been teaching online for 11 years. Every semester brings something new and brings something different. So, I'm excited to play around and see the different technologies that Northeast State has added for this fall. I hope that you are interested in what this course is going to bring to you. Poke around in the course, make sure that you do what you need to for this week, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one.